Most people live their entire lives never discovering what they're truly capable of. They settle for less. They accept mediocrity. They make excuses instead of making progress. But not you. Not today. Today you're going to learn about the most important skill you can ever develop, the ability to push yourself when nobody else will. Let me tell you something that might shock you. Success is not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not about having the right connections or being born into the right family. Success is about developing the discipline to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. That's what separating yourself from the crowd is all about. That's what pushing yourself really means. I've spent decades studying successful people, and I can tell you this with absolute certainty. Every single person who has achieved something significant in their life had to push themselves beyond their comfort zone. They had to do things that scared them. They had to take action when they didn't feel ready. They had to persist when everything inside them wanted to quit. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not that successful people don't feel fear, doubt, or resistance. The difference is that they push through it anyway. They understand that growth and comfort cannot coexist. They know that if you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. Think about this for a moment. Every single day you have a choice. You can choose to push yourself or you can choose to coast. You can choose to challenge yourself or you can choose to stay comfortable. You can choose to grow or you can choose to remain the same. The beautiful thing about life is that these choices are always yours to make. Nobody can make them for you and nobody can take them away from you. But here's what I want you to understand. Your life will be a direct reflection of the choices you make consistently, day after day, year after year. If you consistently choose the easy path, your life will be difficult. If you consistently choose the difficult path, your life will be easy. That's one of the great paradoxes of life, and it's something that most people never figure out. When I say push yourself, I'm not talking about driving yourself into the ground. I'm not talking about working yourself to exhaustion or ignoring your health and relationships. I'm talking about something much more profound. I'm talking about developing the mental discipline to do what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like doing it. You see, we all have two voices inside our heads. One voice says you can do it. You have what it takes. Go for it. The other voice says it's too hard. You're not ready. What if you fail? The voice you listen to will determine the quality of your life. The voice you feed will grow stronger. The voice you starve will grow weaker. Successful people have learned to feed the right voice. They've learned to push past the voice of doubt and fear. They've developed what I call the discipline of doing. They do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. And here's the amazing thing. The more you practice this discipline, the easier it becomes. Let me share with you the fundamental truth about human potential. You have more ability than you're currently using. You have more strength than you're currently demonstrating. You have more intelligence than you're currently applying. You have more courage than you're currently expressing. The question is not whether you have what it takes. The question is whether you're willing to push yourself to discover what you have. Most people live far below their potential because they've accepted limitations that don't really exist. They bought into the lie that they're just average, that they don't have what it takes, that success is for other people. But that's not true. The only difference between you and the most successful person you know is that they decided to push themselves consistently, while most people push themselves occasionally. Consistency is the mother of mastery. It's not what you do once in a while that shapes your life. It's what you do consistently. If you want to transform your life, you must transform your daily habits. You must push yourself to do the things that successful people do day after day, until those things become automatic. Think about the areas of your life where you know you could be doing better. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's your relationships. Maybe it's your personal development. Whatever it is, you know what you need to do. The question is not what to do. The question is whether you're willing to push yourself to do it. Here's something that might surprise you. The biggest enemy of your success is not external circumstances. It's not the economy. It's not your background. It's not other people. The biggest enemy of your success is your own comfort zone. Your comfort zone is where dreams go to die. It's where potential gets buried. It's where mediocrity feels comfortable. But here's the good news. You can choose to leave your comfort zone anytime you want. You can choose to push yourself into the realm of possibility. You can choose to step into the arena where champions are made. The only question is whether you will. I want you to understand something about comfort zones. They're not really comfortable. They're familiar, but they're not comfortable. When you're living below your potential, when you're not pushing yourself to grow and improve, there's a deep dissatisfaction that eats away at you. There's a voice inside that keeps whispering, you could be doing more. You could be more. That voice is not your enemy. That voice is your friend. That voice is trying to wake you up. That voice is trying to remind you of who you really are and what you're really capable of. The tragedy is that most people try to silence that voice instead of listening to it. They try to make it go away instead of following where it leads. But what if you decided to listen to that voice? What if you decided to push yourself in the direction of your dreams? What if you decided to make something happen instead of waiting for something to happen? Your life would change dramatically, and it would change quickly. Let me tell you about the compound effect of pushing yourself. When you push yourself today, you don't just change today. You change tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. Every time you push yourself beyond what's comfortable, you expand what's possible. Every time you do something that challenges you, you become someone who is capable of more challenging things. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary, not through one giant leap, but through thousands of small pushes. Not through one moment of inspiration, but through months and years of perspiration. Not through luck or talent alone, but through the decision to consistently push themselves beyond what they thought was possible. I want you to think about this. What would your life look like 1 year from now if you started pushing yourself today? What would be different? How would you feel? What would you have accomplished? What kind of person would you have become? Now think about this. What will your life look like 1 year from now if you don't push yourself? If you continue doing what you've always done, you'll continue getting what you've always gotten. If you don't change, nothing changes. If you don't push yourself, nobody else will. The time for waiting is over. The time for wishing is over. The time for hoping someone else will come along and change your life is over. The time for pushing yourself is now. The time for making it happen is now. The time for taking control of your destiny is now. But pushing yourself is not just about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about being strategic. It's about focusing your energy on the things that matter most. It's about developing the wisdom to know the difference between activity and achievement, between motion and progress, between being busy and being productive. You see, some people think that pushing yourself means doing more of everything. But that's not true. Pushing yourself means doing more of the right things and less of the wrong things. It means saying no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great opportunities. It means being disciplined about your time, your energy, and your attention. Here's a question that will change your life if you answer it honestly. What are you currently doing that you know you should stop doing? What are you currently not doing that you know you should start doing? The answers to these questions will show you exactly where you need to push yourself. Most people know what they should be doing. They know they should be eating better, exercising more, reading more, learning new skills, building better relationships, saving more money, and pursuing their dreams with more intensity. The problem is not knowledge, the problem is implementation. The problem is the gap between knowing and doing. That gap is where you need to push yourself. That gap is where your future is waiting for you. That gap is where transformation happens, but you have to be willing to step into that gap. You have to be willing to feel uncomfortable. You have to be willing to do things before you feel ready to do them. Let me share with you one of the most powerful principles I've ever learned. You don't have to feel like doing something to do it well. In fact, some of the most important things you'll ever do, you won't feel like doing when you need to do them. But if you wait until you feel like it, you'll be waiting forever. Successful people have learned to act in spite of their feelings. They've learned to push themselves even when they don't feel motivated. They've learned that motivation follows action, not the other way around. They know that if they wait for motivation to strike, they'll be waiting a long time.